Hi everyone, welcome again to my channel. So I know it may have been a bit delayed, but yes, I also pulled for Umi and I did various tests with her in actual combat to help understand how her rotation really works and see her values. And also with the release of the newest physical comp in CN, which is Gunnono, which I will also touch a bit later on. Let's discuss about how they implemented Umi in global, the good, the bad, and how it looks for the physical comp in the future. So first, let's discuss on the good part. So for Umi, one of the best changes that they did was for her advancements. They changed her A1 advancement or from the A5, or they switched it, which is really helpful. But by the way, her A1 is that when you switch to Mobius, you immediately gain 30 warm-up points with a cooldown of 17 seconds. So this is the most important part, aside from the extra damage it will employ, and of course the physical resistance is appreciated. But these 30 points is really important because the most important part of Umi's kit before you activate her magic show is for you to have a full bar, and filling it from 0 to 100 can be a bit troublesome, especially for different weapon types. And next good thing that they changed was that they reduced the cooldown of gaining warm-up points to 0.6 seconds from 0.1. Now that's a lot of improvement because that means ideally with the magic time cooldown of 30 seconds and a duration of 18 seconds, that gives you 12 seconds of downtime, wherein in the ideal scenario you can fill up the entire warm-up points 0 to 100, or let's say 0 to 70 if you have her at A1 in that 12-second window. Now this is good if you're using a really fast weapon, wherein you can immediately, or you can fill the preheat bar in a shorter period as long as you hit so fast. Now let's move on to the bad changes. So one of the unwanted changes that they did with Umi is that they reduced the accrual rate of warm-up points, which is we know that is required for magic time. So in CN, by the way, the accrual for physical weapon is 3 points with each hit, and 1 point for non-physical weapons each hit. Whereas compared to global, we get 1 point each hit and zero point 0.5 for non-physical weapon each hit. So, in effect, in actual combat, this makes Umi limited in lineups to physical comps, and especially they need to be fast hitting. Remember that off-field damage, like for example, Lynn's field does not trigger warm-up points, so you have to rely on the hit of your main weapon. So currently, the best partner or lineup for Umi will be, as you may have guessed, Lyra. Lyra because specifically for her shimmer. There are other physical weapons that you can use, and also for non-physical you can use Samir and then Shiro. While during Shiro's skill, it's really fast, but it's not enough to fill the 70 points for warm up, and you still have to switch rotations with Umi to fill it up. The next we have is Claudia. Now, Claudia is good news because after this banner in a couple of days, if you have at least one copy of Claudia, then you can max her or buy the copies from the store using the regular black gold. So it's also on the computations or the calculations of their kit that at A6 Claudia, it's really a nice. You can use Claudia as a really nice buffer for Umi as your main DPS. So there's that option. And in the future, let's quickly discuss about Gunnono. Now, Gunnono is another fast-hitting physical weapon. It's a chainsaw, and her kit basically revolves around these tentacles, and these tentacles are coordinated attacks. So they spawn depending on the number of tentacle counters you have. And the good thing about that one is you can treat this as on-field coordinated damage on top of everything that Gunnono does while on the field. And using Gunnono's skill, which is active for 12 seconds, you will accelerate, or in the CN's definition, the tentacles goes on a rampage. So you consume the tentacle counts more quickly, but in effect they hit a lot more in a short span of time. And guess what? It's 12 seconds. So it's perfectly in sync with Umi because remember, at best there's a 12-second downtime between the end of Magic Show and its entire cooldown. So that 12 seconds, you can use that full 12 seconds on Gunnono and unleash her kit, and then switch back to Umi for a constant DPS. So that's the future content for CN. All in all, let's go to the final words, I would say. So overall, Umi is a great character and a great weapon for physical. Of course, she adds a lot of new stuff to the table, although there's of course there's also a bit of constraint to use her kit. She is not that easy to use, and you still have to manage her HP, although it's really hard to forget because she has constant hyper body, and the hits just keep coming while you continue your barrage of attacks. So first, let's discuss the pros. Overall, for Umi, the pros that I can summarize is she's a consistent source of hyper body. So for content that has a lot of control or knockups, you can definitely rely on Umi to keep you on using your rotations. Also, don't forget that aside from the high shatter value of Umi, her normal attack and her dodge attacks has boosted shatter value by 50%. So let's not forget, although it might not be that high compared to fast hitting skills because the speed of Mobius is average, but definitely high shatter indeed. And the best pros I would say for her is that she's a flexible unit. Right now, she can function well as a DPS, especially if you have her at A6. But she's perfectly usable at A1. Now, she also has this function of being a buffer if you have her at A3. So I'm not sure if that's a minimal investment, but that kind of makes her future-proof. And the buff that she can give to, let's say, Gunnono will really increase, or that will be the meta comp for the physical. So she's sort of a good investment also in the future, even at A3. Now, for the cons, well, of course, this added preheat constraint, which limits the comps that she can be used with. So basically, you need fast-hitting physical weapons to fill up this preheat bar or warm-up points. Although you can do magic time every 2 rotations and so forth, but in actual battle, it's kind of difficult to maintain, and especially for hard content like Origin of War. Also, another cons for that is that she needs survivability if you will be using her as a main DPS. That's why you still need to use support characters. That's why Lyra is very good for her, because Lyra gives shield and charges her preheat pretty fast. So just be careful when using Umi as main DPS to also keep notice of your HP bar. And another con and last con I think for Umi is that since the duration of magic time is 18 seconds, and most probably during that 18 seconds you have filled already the weapon discharge meter or the weapon energy, so you'll be sitting on a full charge most of the time, so as to maximize the duration of magic time. But all in all, Umi is a great unit. She's really flexible, and for the physical comp, she raises the damage ceiling by quite a lot. And if you learn how to use her, it's really fun to play with Umi. So I guess that's it for this video. I hope you guys learned something new today. And yeah, Fenrir is coming, so I think I'm gonna pull for her first before I do an actual in-game review. And yeah, see you guys next time. Thank you.